well here, and I apologize if I was sketched out when I first walked in, but oh my god, we had a few technical difficulties that I had to iron out, and I apologize if I was short. But anyway, back to the story at hand. So I've been working on this thing for 10 years, and the way that it all started was I was doing some demos with a new producing team called The Wizards. And I don't know if they're here tonight or not, but anyway, we did a few demos, and they were really good, and we wanted to make a new pop album, and that was the plan. And it was right maybe a year or two after my son was born, and we put down the first couple of songs, and they were great. And then all of a sudden, we ended up getting very distracted because I went and did 2 seasons of the 2 Corys, and I executive produced both of those, and then I did the second Lost Boys, and then I did the third Lost Boys, and I executive produced that. And in the middle of all that, I ended up doing another album, which was the Truth Movement album, which a few of the guys from Truth Movement are here tonight as well. Yeah, a little love for Truth Movement. And that album, Technology Analogy, became really my proudest achievement as an artist. Artistically, I felt very, very pleased. We had such amazing people on that album, great, incredible artists, and I was very, very grateful to get people like John Kieran and Scotty Page from Pink Floyd and Storm Thurgeson, who did all of Pink Floyd's artwork, to do our artwork. And I think it was like actually the last concept album he ever did before he died, so that was breathtaking. But so, it was a really great achievement, but unfortunately, it's, Truth Movement is like art stuff, and we did a great tour, but there was no singles, there was no videos really, there was no anything, and there was certainly not a bunch of hoopla, but in the middle of it all, we decided to shut down the pop album and do that album, and then go tour for 2 years, and then in between do a bunch of movies, and then I totally abandoned this pop album. So what happened was, after the 2 Corys, I got divorced, and I had a lot more free time on my hands, and I decided to put a studio in my house, and it was the first time I ever had a studio in my house. And I knew that if I ever had a studio in my house, it would be a lethal weapon, because I could record all the time and, never leave. The problem with me is, like, I keep engineers going till like 6 in the morning, and they're like, man, I just want to go home. And I'm like, come on, we can do another couple hours. I can go. But the great thing about having them in your house is that, like, you just basically let the engineers sleep there, which doesn't mean sleep. I mean, it means mostly sit behind the computer until we're ready to take a nap. No, but we worked very hard, and the great thing about I had like 4 engineers. We went through 4 engineers on this album, but the one that did like the lion's share of the work at the Feldman studios, where we like recorded most of the production. At that studio, literally, this guy was living there for about a year and a half. He had his own apartment, but he spent most of his time there. And he was always sleeping. And people were sleeping on the floor. Fred Durst slept on the floor. I mean, it was just like this kind of artist's, like, cove almost. It had this very just homey thing, and everybody came there, from will.i.am to Fred Durst to, everybody. It was just a great, collaborative, energetic place. And we got the whole album done for the most part, and the best part of it was, for the first time, I felt the comfort to be able to take risks and do things like try playing my own instruments on everything, because I could easily edit it and, change it around and go, oh, well, that wasn't that good, but I like that little bit right there, so we'll keep that, and, stuff like that. So I ended up, for the first time, playing every single instrument on certain songs, which I've never done before. And, there's a lot more of me as a musician, I guess, on this album than I've ever had before. And on top of it, we've got all these amazing collaborations. So everybody that's been a part of this thing, whoo, I can't even list, like, doing the credits was like almost impossible. How do you remember 10 years worth of stuff? It's a lot, but I think we got everybody. If anybody's got a complaint, you can raise your hand. We are going to be giving out CDs in the gift bags to everybody who is part of the album, and as many of my close friends as we can. You know, hopefully you'll love it. But this is a very near and dear project to me, and the whole thing came because I got divorced, and I finally went, you know, I need to make a new album. I'm going to finish this album, but along with it, I want to create another concept. But it's very hard to do a concept with a pop album. When you're doing it with a rock album, it's fine, but, you know, as a pop album, it makes it rather tricky. So I decided this concept had to go like much deeper and much bigger than just the album, and that's where I came up with the idea for Courtney's Angels. And I've been lucky enough to work with some of the most beautiful and intelligent and artistic and creative women in the world. A lot of beautiful women helped contribute to this album. I mean, you know, from the singers to the players to the artists. I mean, the girl, you know, the Duh video was directed by a woman. The Duh artwork was done by another one of the Angels. I mean, we have angel cellist. I mean, literally, there's all sorts. And then we even have women that did the choir. I think some of the choir women are here tonight as well. So just a lot of women involved in making the album. And the